I'm Josh. Congratulations on your new job, and welcome to the ACR Homes training program. I'm here to help guide you through your training so that you have the tools, skills, and resources to be able to become a powerful advocate for people with disabilities. Throughout your training, you'll take classes, watch videos, and shadow other staff in order to learn our best practices when working with people with disabilities, as well as how to become a successful employee. The ACR Homes training program is structured using different colored pods. Yellow pod is employee orientation. You're doing this one right now. Here, we teach you about the basics of ACR, including our history, a few legal issues, and the important qualities that make ACR Homes unique. Blue pod is next, and it explores more on how to be an employee. This includes training about our core values, following safety protocol, healthy communication, and self-care. Red pod builds on that more specifically by teaching you how to be a direct care professional, or DCP, with a focus on the difference between behavioral homes and medical homes. Green pod is reserved for those who work at more medical homes, and it teaches how to handle medical equipment. This pod includes a lot more hands-on training in a classroom, in addition to the videos. Orange pod provides you with the emergency protocol certifications of first aid and CPR through different classes. Purple pod teaches you how to give medications, often referred to as med admin or a med pass. During this process, you'll be placed at a house depending on your location and whether or not you prefer a medical or behavioral home. You'll also start working with your residential supervisor, or RS, in order to schedule your shadow shifts. You'll complete your training with a final test out with one of our registered nurses, and then you'll be able to start your own shifts. The training coordinator will work with you to help organize and schedule your training so that you can complete it within 60 days. Now, it might seem like a lot, but I promise you can do it. To prove it, let's ask some of our employees what it was like for them to make it through training.
My name is Brooke Winter, and I've been working for ACR Homes for 3.5 years.
My name is Becky Czar, and I've worked at ACR for 2.5 years at ACR Homes on Crest Ridge.
Well, the first day I got hired, I was obviously very excited. I knew that I wanted to work for a group home or in some kind of similar setting for a while. So it was a very happy moment, but at the same time, I had no experience at all with people with disabilities or with any type of medical equipment, so a lot of it was very nerve-wracking at the same time.
I felt really excited that I got hired. I basically applied because I was pre-occupational therapy and I wanted some experience. A lot of people at my university, St. Kate's, work at ACR, and they just raved about how much they liked it, so I was really excited to have a job that I heard everyone liked.
It was all kind of a blur, honestly. There's so much information coming at you, and you kind of feel like this pressure that you're supposed to remember every single thing perfectly. But realistically, like there's so many steps to the process, and there's so many people that are there to like continually remind you of things that it's good to kind of let some of that come off of you. I mean, I've gotten to know so many different residents, and to think that when I first started, I was shaking going into the house thinking about what I might have to do, and now it's so natural. Like I feel like I'm coming into the home of like my best friends.
I was excited to start my training, and then once I started getting into the pods, I felt like I was just trying to learn and get a grasp of it, and then when I started shadowing the house, that's when I started to feel a little overwhelmed because there was a lot to do, but it was also exciting because I got to actually meet my residents then, and it made it feel real. I love working at ACR. I feel like when I go to work, I'm doing hard work, and there is a lot of things you need to do as a direct care professional, but I'm also hanging out with people I genuinely enjoy when it comes to my coworkers and my residents, and we get to do fun things, so I love working here.
The hardest part was probably getting used to the mixture of behaviors and medical equipment.
And how to do med passes and how to work oxygen tanks, things like that. I had just never had experience with it before.
The medical equipment alone is a lot, and it's always very neat when you learn it in your pods or like in videos, or you'll learn it with your RN test out where like this is the different steps for every procedure, but when you're doing it in real life, it isn't always like you might see it in a textbook or you might see it in a video. You might have people that are having a really bad day while you're doing a treatment, or people that aren't really a big fan of this thing that they have to do every once in a while, or maybe they have to do every day. And so realizing that it's maybe going to be a little bit more messy than you would expect, I think that was that was a struggle at first.
It really depends on your house, but I felt like at my house we had very busy routines, and if I didn't get something done right, I sometimes just got really hard on myself. So that was really hard, was just to accept that I'm not where I need to be right away. I tried to not try to focus on everything at once. If you started your shift and I have to do a G-tube, med pass, I have to do something with oxygen, it just gets really overwhelming, and I tried to just focus on what I had to do right now, and I think that helped me.
The most important relationships, honestly, have been the relationships that I've made with the residents. Like, I feel like there's connections there that I've made that I hope are never gonna go away. You have days as you're starting to get used to it where, like, there's little moments where you really cling to it and you build that rapport. And those are the stories that are gonna stick in your mind, like anytime that you're having a hard day or anytime that you're kind of wondering if like this is maybe the position, or how long am I gonna stick around here? Like, those are truly magical moments for me.
I have just really enjoyed getting to know my residents. I just feel like they have such unique perspectives to share, and I work with residents who are nonverbal, which I was really nervous about at first, but I think it's so great when you finally figure out a way to communicate with them and get to know their stories and get to know their personalities. It really is the residents that make the job worthwhile.
I feel good. I feel like if I had questions, there would be other staff there that would be willing to answer my questions. If I had concerns that needed to be brought up to a residential supervisor, I feel pretty comfortable that I could talk to somebody about that. I
had been referred to work at ACR by a girl who lived in my dorm. She was actually my RA. And I remember texting her, just telling her how I felt really overwhelmed and didn't feel like I was cut out for the job because I was doing everything so slow and getting med passes done late, and residents were refusing things from me, and I just didn't feel like I was cut out. And she encouraged me to keep going and said that that is normal to feel that way, and you are going to be feeling left behind for a while, but your coworkers understand and want to help you. So I think just being encouraged by people I knew who had done the job before and convincing me that I really could do it, and I maybe wasn't as far behind as I thought I was.
When I first applied and I was getting going with my training, I think I told quite a few people that I wasn't sure if it was the right position for me, and I wasn't sure if I was cut out for it. I wasn't sure if the residents liked me. Because, I mean, obviously if somebody has behaviors, and that must mean that, you know, they're not a fan of you, but in reality, once you are there for a while, you realize that there's just different quirks that some people have, and like, it truly, truly does get easier.
I think the hardest thing about being a new hire is just that feeling that you're not doing good enough and that people are maybe upset with you that you're not doing good enough, but really those older staff appreciate that you're there. Don't worry if you don't know it all off your shadow shifts. You're gonna go into your first shift feeling a little unsure, and that's okay. You'll be working with an experienced staff your first couple shifts at least, and they'll help you and you'll get through it. You can take all the classes on how to do the medication things and how to follow the protocols, but when you actually walk into your shift and feel like I can have a conversation with this resident who's nonverbal and feel totally comfortable with them, and I know all their quirks, that was about 3 months in, and that's when I really felt like I was doing a good job. I feel very comfortable with my job now. I felt like I had a lot of questions to ask in the beginning, and stuff happens that you've never seen before, so you might have to ask your RS. And I feel comfortable asking, but I also feel comfortable in knowing how to problem solve with these kinds of situations with people with disabilities.
If you stick it out and you ask for help, and you're really open to that input that the residents are giving you, or supervisors, coworkers, I think that if your heart's in it, then you're gonna make it.
As you can see, one of the most important things to remember when starting out at ACR is you are not alone. We have lots of resources for you to use along the way, including the mentorship program, where you can be paired up with an experienced staff member who you can ask questions to as they arise. Some things might take a little bit more time to learn, and that's okay. Don't let it get you down. You'll get it. All in all, after your training is complete, we want you to feel empowered so that you can problem solve on your own. Apply the skills, techniques, and resources that we give you throughout your training so that you can support your coworkers and your residents. Then you'll be able to remain a strong individual, not just at ACR, but also in life. So, let's get started.